So now that we've set up our Twitter account, we've put in all the basics like our profile information, we have a background image here, all the basic stuff when you first set up. Now what I'd like to do is walk through some of the most common ways of using Twitter. Twitter has a number of different interfaces. I'm gonna show you three of the most popular ones, and then you can do your own research as well to see if one of these three works for you, if a combination of these three works, or if you want to try something different. And the first one is just going to twitter.com and clicking home to come here to your home profile. This is the web client, and you can do all your tweeting here if you want. Basically, you've got a timeline of everybody that you follow. Their tweets will start showing up here. Now, we're not following anyone yet, so we're not going to see any information, but over time, you're going to be following hundreds and maybe even thousands of people, depending on how active you are. So this timeline will fill up very quickly. And the web client can actually be a little bit difficult to keep track of everything that's going on. And I'm going to show you how you can make it a little bit easier with some other tools in a minute. And then you have a tab here called @ mentions. @ is when somebody speaks to you publicly on Twitter. So if somebody says, @funny video guru, I like your Twitter account and I like some of the things you've been tweeting about, let's connect. You know, that I can see that person, everybody else can see that person talking to me, and it's a public conversation per se. Then there's a retweet tab. Anytime somebody retweets one of your messages, or if you retweet somebody else's, and retweets are basically just repeats. People are repeating what you said and telling everyone else how cool or funny or interesting it was. And so this tab lets you organize what's been retweeted by you or by others. There's also a tab here for searches. Twitter has a whole search section, which I'll be covering later, where you can search for different things. And Twitter is basically like a massive news feed happening online 24/7 all the time. And you can search for things. You can find people in real time who are talking about Krispy Kreme donuts or whatever. And then you can go and actually engage with those people. So if there's a search you run fairly frequently, you can save it here. And then lists is another nice feature of Twitter. You can create lists like local Twitter people or funny people or fellow bloggers if you're a blogger, and people that are on Twitter who happen to fall into that particular category or list, you can add them to your list. And what I like to do actually is create lists and then do searches on my lists, because I'm following on some of my accounts thousands of people, but I only stay in touch with certain people, so I just put those people on my list, and then I can really keep a close eye on the people in that list. So that's how the web client works. And you know, you can add a tweet. Let's add another tweet here for fun, just kinda messing around with Twitter and learning stuff. Hope to meet you soon. We'll tweet that out, and that goes into your timeline. So you'll see your own tweets in your timeline, but you'll see everybody else that you're following as well. I have one follower. Somebody must have found me, but they'll see that. But they'll also see however many other people that are following as well. So that's the web client. And then there's two other clients that kind of give you a broader view of Twitter. So I'm going to open two tabs here. The first one is called TweetDeck. So if you go to tweetdeck.com, TweetDeck is actually a client that you need to download and install on your computer. So if I zoom in here, you'll see that there's a desktop client, there's an iPhone and an iPad client, as well as some other clients for depending on the platform you're using. I happen to be doing this demo from a Mac laptop, but plenty of people use this on Windows and other platforms as well. It's really up to you. But the key thing is you need to pick which one is appropriate for you. I'm going to suggest, if you're watching this from a laptop, that you grab a desktop client and use it. But I will caution you and say that TweetDeck is a little bit resource intensive. And what I mean is that if your computer is a little bit older and doesn't necessarily have a lot of RAM or speed to it, TweetDeck might really slow your computer down, so you want to keep that in mind. So I'm not going to demonstrate how to download it, but let's say you want to grab the desktop client. All you do is come to desktop and you click download now. It's free, and then there's a whole process of installing. I'm going to assume you can download and install a piece of software. If I were to demo it for you now for my Mac, it wouldn't necessarily translate to Windows users. So I'll leave it at that. Go ahead and install your desktop client for Twitter or any other client that you want to use as well, and we'll come back. So here we are in TweetDeck, and once I installed TweetDeck, it actually asked me to configure my user ID and all of that. So you can see that this is my profile here. I'm already showing up in TweetDeck. I'm going to just quickly revisit what I did to get my information into TweetDeck, because you'll have to do this. So I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to show you exactly how I brought in my account. And you'll be presented with this automatically when you first start TweetDeck for the first time. But you'll basically be adding a new account, and you can actually add accounts from more than just Twitter with TweetDeck, which is kind of cool. You can bring in your LinkedIn profile, Facebook, Foursquare, and so on. But with Twitter, all you really need is the username and the password, and then once you verify the details, it makes that account active here. And another cool thing about TweetDeck is you might have 5 or 6 or more Twitter accounts that you run if you're an active marketer promoting a lot of things. And you can manage all of those Twitter accounts from one TweetDeck interface here, which is kind of cool. Once you have your profile set up here, then I'm just going to hit cancel. Then you'll be at the same phase I was at here when I first brought up TweetDeck for you. And I guess here's what I'll say about TweetDeck is it lets you look at Twitter in a much different way than the web client would. You can see here that the world of Twitter is broken into columns. So the first column on the left is called All Friends. Anybody that I begin to follow, I will see all of their tweets in the left-hand window here. And the window will just keep filling up with the newest tweets happening at the top. And once you're following a lot of people, this will be changing every half second. It gets really fast. And it becomes a little bit hard to manage. So later on you'll see how you can organize specific people that you want to follow into lists and so on. And then you'll have a column for mentions. These are people who mention you. If they deliver an @ reply to you saying your name, it'll show up here. It looks like some bot automatically sent a message to me. It's kind of useless. And then if people send direct messages to you, these are private. Direct messages in Twitter are when one Twitter user sends you a message that is not public. It's only seen by you. And you have to be following each other in order to send and receive direct messages. If the person that you're trying to direct message is not following you, then you cannot direct message them. And then TweetDeck will also give you some trending columns here and recommended. And I'll just give you a quick example of one of the powerful features of TweetDeck is you can click this plus sign here at the top and you can filter searching for things. So let's filter for comedy, just comedy. And what it's going to do is going to bring up a feed of information of all the people on Twitter who have used the word comedy in one of their tweets. And what's cool about TweetDeck is I can quickly scroll through all these here, find something that seems interesting, and maybe click on that person's name to learn more about them, and I can see what other things they've been tweeting, and then I can follow them. I can go to their Twitter page. Another thing with TweetDeck here is if I go back to the other view, if you hover over top of the people, you can send them replies, so you can interact directly with people. So TweetDeck as a tool is just great for making, I'm just removing that column here, it's great for making Twitter a lot more usable and user-friendly. And the other thing I'm just going to mention quickly here about Twitter is there are some additional settings that may or may not be turned on for you when you first start it. But I just want to mention them because they can be a little bit annoying. For example, notifications. If you leave this on, then what happens is you'll get an audio like beep sound plus a little red dot appearing up in the top right corner of TweetDeck every time a new tweet is made, and it gets really annoying after a while. So you might want to come in here and turn off some of the notifications. That's just something I wanted to point out. You can also adjust the colors in the font. So some people are sensitive to the way this looks. I usually leave the defaults, but you can mess around with the theme and the overall color of the text and the background and so on. You can really make it look the way you need it to look. Beyond that, I'm just going to leave it at that. There are additional advanced features here for TweetDeck, but for just getting started, this is all you really need to know. So that is TweetDeck. We're going to be coming back to this again and again, but you've so far seen the web client and TweetDeck, and now the third one I want to show you is Hootsuite, so we'll go over there next. And the third client I want to show you is Hootsuite, and all you have to do is go to hootsuite.com. We've looked at using twitter.com through the web and TweetDeck as a software client you install. Hootsuite is very much like TweetDeck in the sense that you can organize Twitter a lot more nicely, but you don't need to install anything. So it's all done through a web browser, which a lot of people prefer. It's good if you have an older computer too. So let's sign up, and I'll show you exactly how you can create an account. So sign up now, and we're going to focus only on free options in this course. And all you need to do at this point is create your account by filling this all in. If you already have OpenID or any of these other third-party authenticators, you can use those accounts. So if you have a Gmail account or Google or Yahoo account or so on, I'm just going to do it the old school way here. And then you click Create Account. So that's about all it takes to sign up with Hootsuite, and then it gives you a pretty nice interface here. All you really have to do is follow the steps. So first thing you want to do is obviously add a social network. So we're going to start there at the top, click Add Social Network, and we're going to focus obviously on Twitter. So it gives you some options here. Automatically create a new tab for this profile and follow Hootsuite on Twitter for updates. I like to leave those things, so we're just going to click the Connect button. And this brings up an authenticator, so it just wants to make sure that you're giving Hootsuite permission to access your Twitter account. So you click Allow, and then it goes through the authentication process. And then the Submit button becomes active, and then here we go. So it adds in my case, the Funny Video Guru account to my Hootsuite interface. Now, if you look at this, how do we get rid of this owl? There we go. It looks a lot like TweetDeck. We've got our home feed with anybody that we're following. It'll show up here. Mentions, direct messages, pending tweets. This is cool because we can schedule tweets to happen at a later date, plus things we've sent in the past, and then we can add more to this as we go along. So Hootsuite, again, very much like TweetDeck in the sense that you can do pretty much everything you did over there. You're just using the web browser now. And just before we go here, I'm going to show you a couple of features, or a good feature with Hootsuite. If you notice, we went through all the different streams that were available. These are the ones that kind of are defaulted, but you can add a stream, and a stream is really just like in TweetDeck, a column of things you're looking for. So in my case, I might want to add a stream where I'm searching for funny videos. If somebody mentions the word funny video, I want to see what they're saying. And I'll give you a little sneak peek at how you can follow people here as well. So you can see this guy, this first person is retweeting. RT stands for retweet at some original person where they're talking about they saw some kind of funny thing. So you can see this guy is retweeting a dumb funny video. So for fun's sake, let's just see who he is. It's a guy. We can look at his profile, and the easiest thing to do is click follow. And now we're following this person, and we should start seeing his updates in our original feed way over on the left. And that's really it. That's all there is to it with Hootsuite. We're going to get into a lot more of the Twitter features as we go along, but now you've seen all three of the most popular and recommended clients.